Welcome back to the Hawkcast. We're back for episode 5, coming off a pretty rough loss, but we're going to recap it, and I'm going to bring my boy Ty in here. Ty,
What's going on?
how's your day been?
Dude, I'm tired, but hey, we're off school for fall break, and I have today off. I have tomorrow off, so I really can't complain, to be honest. I'm going to play some Rainbow Six Siege after this Cowboys game. I'm either A, going to be in a completely angry mood, ready to smash my controller against the wall, or the Cowboys will actually save my mental health this week, and I can only be mad at Rainbow Six Siege. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I hate to say it, tonight your Cowboys
No, they're
will
not.
be taking that L.
No.
I'm not a diehard Chargers fan,
Oh,
but
I forgot. That's like the team you would cheer for if you had one.
if I am cheering for an NFL team, it is the Chargers. I will be watching. I will be praying on the downfall of the Dallas Cowboys tonight.
Listen,
As
listen.
always, every Sunday,
I'm
every
just saying.
Monday, every Thursday, every day of the week, I'm always praying for it.
I'm just saying. I've already won this week. The 49ers lost in an embarrassing game, even though Brock Purdy did not have the Avengers on his side. But the Eagles lost to Zach Wilson. They lost to Zach Wilson, and Jalen Hurts threw not one, not two, but 3 interceptions against that defense. No Sauce Gardner, no DJ Reed. Dak Prescott played against both of those guys, went 31 of 38, 200 plus yards. I think it was 250 plus, 2 touchdowns. He had a day against that defense, and Jalen Hurts struggled. And Jalen Hurts now leads the NFC East in interceptions at 7, and Dak is at 4. I get it. He had a bad game last week. At least it was against a healthy best defense in the league in the 49ers and not a banged up Jets secondary. That's all I'm going to say.
The funniest part is Jalen Hurts is going to lead the NFC East in interceptions for one entire day because Dak Prescott. He's going at least 3 tonight.
He's not throwing 3 tonight.
He's going for
Joey
at least 3
Bosa
tonight.
is out. The secondary is not good besides Derwin James.
We'll find out. Let's just go ahead and get into our poll, man.
Yeah, let's get it. We got the poll.
It's the poll.
It's bigger than ever. The poll knows all. The poll decides the fate. And the poll is the poll, as always.
Just from seeing this, you're always in charge of the poll. So we sometimes have a couple of disagreements.
Okay.
You can go ahead and say it, and I'll kind of voice what I'm thinking after this. There's one big one that I really am kind of upset with.
I think I know what you're looking at, but we'll see what happens. So starting off, the top 2 remain the same as they have for most of the season. We got Georgia and Michigan, then Ohio State and Florida State and Washington at 5. They now jump up, and Penn State jumps up at 6. I really didn't want to move Oklahoma because they're playing arguably some of the best football in the nation. But these 2 teams, Washington obviously beat a ranked Oregon, and Penn State blew off the doors of UMass. And then Texas at 8, Oregon at 9, UNC and Drake May at 10. Ole Miss 11, Oregon State 12. DJ Uiagalelei is playing some really great football, and the Beavers are as well. Alabama at 13, Utah 14, Duke 15, Tennessee 16, Notre Dame 17. I think that one's flippable with Tennessee. LSU 18, USC 19, Missouri 20, Louisville 21, Air Force 22, UCLA 23, Tulane 24, and Iowa 25. A big shakeup from around the 3 to 25 spots. A lot of big teams lost this week. A lot of change happened in the poll.
First off, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Iowa. Shout out to Iowa for the women's basketball team coming in clutch.
55,000 people.
That is unbelievable. Caitlin Clark, say what you want. She's the best player in all of college basketball, men's or women's. She's an absolute dog. Triple-double in the first game of the season this year. Can't wait to watch her play. But my first disagreement, and I've been saying this the entire year.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Michigan is the number 1 team in the nation, and they proved it last Saturday.
I just didn't know who Georgia actually played last week. I couldn't remember. They played Vandy. Yeah, and they They didn't win convincingly again. I know
Michigan is by far the best team.
Let's listen.
And so I respect, like, if you choose Georgia, that's fine. But
I'd like to make
the
a
AP
PSA.
poll, knowing that the game against Vandy of all teams was another close one. Georgia has always played down to their competition. Did it again this Saturday. I really like Michigan this year. I picked Michigan to win the title at the beginning of the year. I still am sticking by that. I think they're going to cruise through their schedule. Only tough game I can see on their schedule is Ohio State, and I think
they'll beat them convincingly.
Yeah,
listen. I'd like to make a PSA. I forgot that Georgia played Vandy this week, and Michigan blew off the walls of I can't remember who they played. I think it was Minnesota or Indiana. I would say it was one of them. Make a PSA. The poll is changing right now, mid-episode. The Michigan Wolverines at number 1 in my poll. Change it. Flip it. Whatever needs to be done, do it now. The Michigan Wolverines are now number 1 in my poll. I did not do enough research in the past 30 minutes ago when I made the poll, but Michigan is number 1. Go ahead and mark it down. Bookmark it. How do I make it official? Michigan 1, Georgia 2.
Also, another one that kind of stands out to me, I'm looking at it right now. Washington is by far a top 4 team. You saw what they did to Oregon last week. I think that probably was the game of the year.
It was a back against the wall performance for the Washington Huskies, and Michael Penix showed up and showed out, as you want your top tier quarterback to do so.
So I personally think that they should be top 4. We'll see. They still have a really tough schedule ahead of them. But right now, I think that they're the clear favorite in the Pac-12. We'll probably honestly see another rematch between Washington and Oregon in the Pac-12 title game.
I think we could see it.
I would love to see that. That was 100%
that was cinema.
Game of the year.
Cinema.
So I would probably put Washington at 3, and then put Ohio State or Florida State at 4. But I mean, other than that, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of things I don't like about this poll. I mean, other than that, it seems like a pretty good poll to me.
And shout out to Air Force Academy coming into not just our poll, but the AP poll rankings at 22.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in one of those Army, Navy, Air Force teams, you got to have that dog in you, and they've got that dog.
Air Force got that dog in them.
You mentioned it about Penix. What a performance that was on Saturday.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For that, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put him number 1 on my Heisman rankings, and I'm very sure that you have that there too as well.
I had it last week, and now the agenda moves forward.
Yeah, I had Caleb at 1 last week, and in all honesty, he's fallen completely out of the out of my top 5. I think if he didn't win it last year, it would be a little bit different. But we know voter fatigue is a real thing. We've seen it with the NBA. I personally thought Jokic was good enough last year to win it again.
He should have won it last year.
And he didn't. And I think that a lot of that has to go back with voter fatigue. So Williams, as much as I like him, I love watching him play. I don't think he has a chance anymore after that 3 interception performance. I have Jaden Daniels at number 2. And
who would have thought?
Honestly, I think he does have a real shot of being in New York, but I think he has to have a couple things go right.
We have to win out.
They're probably going to have to win out for him to be there.
But it's a schedule that favors LSU. Their toughest opponent is Alabama. But the problem, they don't play enough ranked opponents to really give themselves a chance.
I mean, if they had a reasonable defense,
he would be top 3.
Yeah, he could 100% be a lock there right now.
He could be a lock, and the Tigers, like I said this last week, he would be a lock to be a candidate, and the Tigers would be probably a top 5 team in the nation if their defense was serviceable enough to win them the amount of football games, because you let up 48 to Florida State and then 55 to Ole Miss in games that they definitely could have won. And Jayden Daniels, I mean, that first game was really a struggle for everyone. And even if they had still lost that first game with a good defense, everything else could really still go their way. And I think it really depends on how LSU finished at the season. Like you said, they're going to have to win out, but their next best opponent is really Alabama. But then if they want to make a statement, they got to go into Atlanta in the SEC championship game and beat down Georgia, which I think they can.
Yeah,
the only thing is the defense has got to show up.
If he did have a good defense, he would be 100% there. He's playing probably some of the best ball that we've seen in the country right now.
After having so much adversity into the agenda of him not being able to push the ball downfield. He read all your comments and now is able to push the ball downfield.
Yeah, he's playing good. At number 3, I got Dillon Gabriel. They had a off week this week, so obviously he can't prove himself anymore there. But I think he does. I think personally he will end up in New York this year, just because I think Oklahoma has a chance to win out, and I think they also have a chance to.
If they win out, they could make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they will have a chance to be there. And then number 4, Drake May. He was one of the favorites at the beginning of the year. Kind of had a rough first game. They still pulled it out. UNC is back in the top 10, undefeated.
Let's say they undefeated.
He's looking good. He's looking really good. And then my last one, Bo Nix. He joins my top 5 after a loss, ironically, but he played better than Penix. He played better than Penix on Saturday. And they may have lost, yes, but I mean, it's still reasonable to see him in New York as well. I definitely think it's Penix's award to lose, but Nix could definitely make a case to get there. If Oregon keeps playing the same way that they do, it's a tough place to play at Washington. That I think if you play that game at Oregon,
he wins that.
They probably win that one.
And it's not his fault that they lost the game. You miss a 43-yarder as time expires. I mean, was Bo Nix going to go out there and kick the field goal?
Yeah, but he played better than Penix.
He played out of his mind
that game. So he joins my top 5 even after a loss, just because he played so amazing.
Yeah, it was a absolutely astounding duel between the 2 best quarterbacks in the Pac-12 and 2 guys who are Heisman favorites. You know, highly praised for what they've done on the field this year. Now, my Heisman rankings, they're pretty similar. At number 1, Michael Penix. I mean, we talked about it already. The dude is just like you said, Will, it's his award to lose. At number 2, I actually have Bo Nix. He was in my 5 last week, and he has continuously moved up and is continuing to prove himself. Also, Will, I do know that this is not what's on the chat right now, but I'm changing it as I go. Okay, just bear with me. So Penix at 1, Nix at 2. And at number 3, even though he played probably the worst game of his collegiate career, he's still on there because of the insane amount of talent he has. I have Caleb. Obviously, like you said, Will, fatigue is a very much real thing, but I think that Caleb could still win this award. But he's got to win out because his schedule from here on out, it's a gauntlet. It is a gauntlet. And we called it last week that Notre Dame was going to win this football game. And now it's just the beginning of what is up next for USC and the Trojans. So it's going to be a tough schedule for Caleb to try if he wants to go ahead and secure this second Heisman Award. But I think he can still do it. But it all falls on the hands of the defense, just like my number 4 guy, Jayden Daniels. I mean, I didn't expect him to take I expected him to take a little bit of a leap, but not as strong as this one. He's becoming one of the most, if not the most electrifying dual threat quarterback in the nation. I would only really take Caleb above him. What he does as a dual threat runner, he's so just versatile, elusive, and I think there's going to be a team out there in the first or second round who is going to take a chance on him. There's a lot of teams who are going to need quarterbacks next year, and I think Jayden Daniels should be highly regarded as one of the top quarterbacks going into this class. At number 5, Dillon Gabriel, like you said, on a bye week, so didn't really have anything to prove that we already know. And like you said, I could really see Oklahoma going in there for the rest of the season, winning out and making the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think our only difference between the people that we have is
Just Caleb.
yeah, you have Caleb, I have Drake May, but I think that's a
I
pretty
like
good.
Drake May, but I feel like we're just not talking about him enough. I know he's definitely one of the favorites and should be one of the top quarterbacks going into the class. I think I had Shador last week, but we're not going to talk about Colorado.
Yeah.
We're done talking about him right now. I love Dion, but I don't know what that was.
Yeah, it's a very very rough game. I went to
Yeah.
sleep. I went to sleep at 29-0, and
I turned it off at 29-0, and then I got the
unbelievable.
notification on my phone. I was like, "Oh, they're in overtime," and I was like, "Huh?" But
Yeah,
not only did the Buffalo have a really ugly loss this week, the Arkansas Razorbacks did too, for the 5th week in a row.
yeah,
Another L in the column. And now, listen, I know I said that it was an ugly loss, but this was probably this might have been the best loss of the season.
yeah.
But morale victories. We're not Sam Pittman here. We're not going to act like Sam Pittman. We can't take morale victories. But they impressed. They impressed me this week. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I think the score was a little bit closer than the game actually was. I don't really think Arkansas really ever had a chance in my mind. I think maybe if they would have kind of switched up the play calling there at the end, it may have been a different story.
Right.
But I mean, in the back of my mind, I knew this was always Bama. I knew it was
Yeah.
gonna.
I
I
didn't get
knew
my
it was.
hopes up, but I was really excited watching them crawl back into this game. And listen, the run game, I don't know why, as an offensive coordinator, you know the run game is not established nor is going to get established, but keep running the football. They established the run game with one man, and that was AJ Green. 6 carries for 44 yards on 7.3 per carry. Why is he only getting 6 carries a game? He kept us in there. I know the turf monster got Dominion at the end, but AJ Green really kept the run game and the offense fluent. And Dan saw that and decided he didn't want him to have touches. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because he had that kind of not breakout game, but he had a big game against BYU
He
in the
did.
loss. I think he had over 100 yards, and then after that, we just didn't see him. We haven't seen him.
And even with the Rocket Sanders hasn't been healthy, and we'll get into his stuff in a minute. But Rocket hasn't been healthy. That could really be his backfield to lose if they give him touches. But he's not going to produce if the touches aren't coming his way.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting. I think everyone's kind of done with Dan Enos. No disrespect to him, but it's just when I feel like I can call better plays and manage better than SEC offensive coordinator, it's a little bit concerning to me. I don't feel like that should ever be the case.
As the play caller, you want to get the ball in the hands of the guys who are making plays for you, who are keeping you in the game. But Dan Enos had no plans of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not a Power 5 offensive coordinator.
Nor will we ever be.
Yeah, and I have nowhere near the knowledge that the people do on that staff.
But at some point, you got to apply some common sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no reason you should be running it on 3rd and 8.
Exactly.
On your side of the field.
And I get it. Didn't we get that first down?
No, we didn't get it.
Oh, I can't remember. Well, we got on like one of the last drives of the game. There was a first down on like a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that was it started out as a pass play, but
we got the pizza, boys. Mom has come in and delivered the pizza to the crib.
But no, I think that was a design pass play, and KJ tucked it. But I mean, even then, it's just we haven't really had that run game all season. Everyone knows that we haven't had that run game all season. We don't have the offensive line to open up holes for the run game.
Yep.
Everyone knows that. The entire fan base knows it. All the media knows it.
But Dan Enos doesn't.
I can't tell if he's oblivious to it or just doesn't care. But it's another frustrating one. Seems like we were this close to pulling it off. that would have been the second time in my lifetime that Arkansas beat Alabama. First one coming when I was 2 or 3, I
I'll say
think.
2 or 3 years old. Listen,
So
as someone who's watched LSU for so long, I've seen them beat Bama twice in the last 4 years.
yeah,
We beat them
so,
last year when we shouldn't have.
yeah. So
And we could easily beat them again this year.
yeah, it's just unbelievable to me, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You can praise Saban as much as you want, but
This is not the same Alabama this year. They're a
it's
team who
not.
knows that they can be on the ropes with anyone, and they have.
Yeah, they're not. They're not that same team. We saw it this Saturday. I can't tell if they played down to their opponent or Arkansas just played a little bit better. But
I think
I
Arkansas
don't
really
think
played a little better, especially in the second half.
Yeah, there's not really much you can say at this point. I think five straight losses. I mean, it just sucks.
I mean, listen, the defense played really great in the second half. So did the offense. I think it was all cylinders clicking, but play calling continuously held them back. You allow Bama to score only 3 points in the second half, and you let KJ Jefferson go out there and do his thing. When the pass game was going, the offense was flowing, and we scored points. And Dan Enos decided he didn't want to score points anymore. Yeah. He didn't want to give the ball to AJ Green, who was getting 8 yards a carry, and didn't want to pass the ball, which was scoring us points. So I guess Dan Enos just doesn't want to win football games anymore.
Yeah, it was that last drive, especially where I just kind of just shook my head.
Yep.
It was just really, really questionable decisions there at the end. And
yeah,
especially in a game like that where you're going to have to take risks because
it's Alabama.
This team is better than you in almost every part of the game. You have to do what you need to do to pull a win off like that, and they didn't. They played conservative, and that'll never ever win you football games against a top tier team like Alabama. You cannot play conservative.
Absolutely.
I thought there was going to be a little more trick plays. We didn't see a single one. I don't think.
I think you tweeted about it. You said, "I guarantee a trick play."
There was not, and that was a little disappointing because I feel like you kind of put Alabama in a good position there, just by playing conservative. Once again, you just won't win football games like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Won't. And I really hope that Arkansas would have won, so we would have filmed this episode, and you would have been body paint red.
Yeah, I was like in the middle of the game.
I think I texted you. I was like, bro.
When they started coming back, I was like,
he's gonna have to paint his face red.
Gonna have to do this, and then realized I was like, never.
You're like, no, it's the Razorbacks. It's Arkansas. It's not happening. Listen, it's unfortunate, but listen, we play Mississippi State on Saturday.
This is the game.
If we lose, I'm not watching for the rest of the season.
This is the game that they say they call it a get back game. You need a game like this on your schedule to get you back where you want to be.
Arkansas
You're obviously not where you want to be and probably won't finish anywhere where you wanted to be at the beginning of the season. But this is one game that you 100% have to win to get you back on track. You have to win this game to be bowl eligible. That may already be kind of out the window already, but if Sam Pittman said it, he said his goal was to be bowl eligible.
It's not impossible. Their schedule now really favors them. And listen, even though the record is 2-5, you're not where you want to be. This was a team who's very talented and enough to be in a ranked as a ranked team. They have the talent, but they played below their opponents. You know, you could have won the BYU game. You could have won the LSU game. Texas A&M was just a beat down all around. You could have won the Ole Miss game, and you could have beat Alabama. Those are opponents right there. I know even BYU, who's playing some great football right now. I think they're 5-1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, yeah, the BYU Cougars, I think they're 5-1. But listen, between LSU, Mississippi, Ole Miss, Alabama, those are 3 top tier opponents right there that you could have beaten, but you shot yourself in the foot. You can't do that against big teams like that. But now you're playing against teams such as Mississippi State, where you have a little bit more room for error. It's SEC football, so you really shouldn't look to have that. But they didn't play horrible. Play calling was an issue.
Yeah.
Because those were games that the Razorbacks could have won. Every single one of those games. We could be looking at 5-1. We could be looking at 5-1 or 6-1 or 5-2. They could easily be looking at that. But the play calling was the issue. And there's no other way to sugarcoat that. Play calling was the issue. And now you're playing a team that has a little bit, you have some more favor against. And this schedule for Arkansas is it's doable. It's doable. You play Mississippi State, 4 out of 5 are home. You play Mississippi State at home, then headed the road to go to the Swamp in Gainesville, but then everything else, Auburn home, FIU home, ranked Missouri home. That's going to be probably the biggest game. It is the biggest game for the Razorbacks here on out. They need to win out. If you lose one more, you're probably going to lose to Missouri if they still playing the way they are and Brady Cook is, then you're not going to make a bowl. And the whole coaching staff should be revamped. But I think at this point, the Razorbacks have a chance to win out and still find themselves bowl eligible. I really could. I think they could get 5 wins in a row and set themselves at 7-5. Even though it's a disappointing season, you have this run at the end that, makes you feel a little good inside.
Yeah, if you go 7-5, I think the narrative of this team and the coaching staff kind of changes. I think if you go 7-5, Dan Enos is probably here for another year.
But that's the bad thing, though.
And what does that mean for us? I don't know.
Another year of torture.
But if you go 6-6 or 7-5, I think you're probably feeling pretty good. Do I feel confident in that? I don't think so. I really believe that Arkansas will finally get through what they've been going through and get one this weekend.
Yep.
It's much needed, especially going into the bye week. You need a game like that.
You do.
And it'll be without Will Rogers. So it's looking like a game that is
you should win.
You're favored in this game by a lot.
And you're coming home. You're coming back to Razorback Stadium. You haven't been there in quite some time. This is a game that you really do need a morale victory. You need to go in there and lay the hammer down against, as you said, a banged up Mississippi State in front of the fans. You need to let the hog calls go wild.
Yeah, it's homecoming. The guys are going to be amped up for it. The fans are going to be back. I'm not sure what the fans are going to look like. I hope there's a good crowd, but it's an 11 a.m. game. You're coming off of 5 losses in a row.
I don't know. A lot of people are going to show up.
Yeah, but
I hope they do.
But it's a game that you got to win.
Yep.
It's a game that you feel a whole lot better about your staff and the team itself if you win. So it's one that you got to have it. You got to have it.
You do. And listen, you're not going to have Rocket Sanders most likely for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Pittman said in his press conference Monday that, he doesn't know. And he doesn't know what his status is for the rest of the year. And that's a little bit concerning. It kind of seems like you're getting played a little bit.
Yeah.
And it also seems like he's just trying to hold out.
And not tank his draft stock at this point.
Yeah.
It's already begun. Like you said before we got on here, he was a preseason first-round pick. And I think he still has that first-round pick talent, but he's been injured this season. At this point, maybe he's sitting out for the advantage of his health and wants to make sure he can still find himself in a good situation where he's believed in and can make immediate impact. Because if he's drafted in the later rounds, he's not going to get much opportunity as his career begins. And he's a guy who should get it. I mean, the running back position in the NFL is becoming increasingly more confusing. You're not paying running backs. So if he gets drafted to a team where there's a above par offensive line where he can get more opportunity from the get-go, he could make some noise early in his NFL career. And maybe it's just a strategic move so he can keep healthy and go to a place and a situation that's going to thrive and it's going to be set around his skill set. I lost the word.
Yeah. No, I think the most worrying thing for me is he seems a little bit fed up just based off his social media presence. And it worries me because you don't want to see a guy with that amount of talent, probably one of the best running backs you've had in a really long time at Arkansas. You don't want to see a guy like him transfer. With his draft stock going down a little bit, it's 100% a possibility of him coming back to school and trying to bring that back up in a different place.
Yeah,
And that's not something that you want to have happen at
he's
all.
not going to do it at the Razorbacks if he comes back.
Yeah, it's not something that you want to happen.
It's unfortunate. Listen, let's lighten up the mood a little bit. We have been on a low with the football, but it's good. It's okay. It's a good thing because we're a basketball school. The first AP poll of the 2023-24 season has arrived, and the Razorbacks are at 14. And 14. We're gonna get a lot of chances to cover this team this year for big name brands, and it's exciting the amount of times we're gonna get to watch this team. We've already have so much praise about them. They are a fun basketball team.
Yeah, and I think the AP and the coaches and almost every other media outlet that you see, they know what we've been saying as well. They respect us a whole lot. We're above the big national teams that you are expected to see in the top 10, top 15. We're above Kentucky, Texas, North Carolina, Villanova. That's just, you can tell that Arkansas basketball is back.
Here.
It's back. I'm not I didn't really agree with the first AP poll that dropped today, or I guess this will be Monday. A little weird. I don't think Kansas personally is the number one team.
I mean, they're almost unanimously though.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's
acquiring Hunter Dickinson. I mean, I know so little about college basketball this year, dude. It's so hard for me to keep up with, but I'm going to be better this year for you guys and for myself.
Yeah, I think it's Duke. You're returning a bunch of guys. You got Filipowski returning. You got Roach returning.
Yep.
And then you're getting guys like Jared McCain, Sean Stewart, guys like that, just who are elite guys. I think that team meshes a little bit better than the Kansas team does. I know Kansas is going to be really good defensively this year, especially with their guards.
And getting Hunter Dickinson as well.
Yeah.
Obviously
And then Purdue, it's a little weird. Purdue is always a weird team to me. It seems like they always kind of have a collapse at the end of the season. We saw it this year with them losing to a 16 seed.
Yep.
But they just never really pan out in the postseason. I understand that this is the regular season and everything, but I don't think that they're the third best team. I would go ahead and put Michigan State above them. We have three SEC teams in a row.
Look at FAU though. Florida Atlantic FAU, last year.
They're returning almost every single player from their team last year. Made a Final Four run. I think they could definitely do it again. Their conference is favorable. I'm pretty sure that they're playing in Maui this year, so that'll be a good test.
Yeah,
beginning of the year, but
from nothing to something. No one was talking about FAU last year. I like them, and here they are. They make it to the championship or the Final Four.
I think
they lost to San Diego State on that game winner because I watched that.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on FAU. I'm drinking it. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on Creighton. They are
no one's drinking the Kool-Aid on Creighton.
Not the 8th best team in my opinion. You lost 2 of your best players. Didn't really get a whole lot back in the portal. I mean, you have Shireman there, who's always going to be good. Probably will be a consistent role player in the NBA eventually.
Yep.
But I don't like them at 8. I think that they should honestly be below Arkansas. I think Arkansas's ranking though is pretty fair.
It is.
It's pretty fair. It could definitely rise. I could definitely see us getting in possibly even the top 5 if we play hard.
If this team plays to their standards, they should be a top 5 around that ranking, because that's the problem.
If you win this Battle for Atlantis tournament early in the season, you're probably 5 or 6, 100%.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, we've seen this team.
Fair. I think
we've seen how this team plays. We both gotten our chances to see them in person, and they still yet to add one of your personal friends, Khalif Battle.
Yeah, I think it's fair spot for them though.
I also haven't heard about his injury since the red and white scrimmage.
It's been kind of
like, we haven't heard anything about his status. Maybe I need to go to a press conference and ask him about it.
We will we'll find out here soon, with the first exhibition game coming up.
Yeah, comes up this Friday against UT Tyler, and I will be in attendance for ESPN Arkansas. I'm really excited about that. I think I'm in play to possibly have credentials to the Purdue game.
That would be awesome.
Dude, if I get to go to that'd be an exhibition game, and I have no doubt about it that Bud Walton would be absolutely ecstatic.
But 14 seems fair, I think. 14 seems
Khalif Battle, I'm looking at his Twitter right now. He tweeted literally half an hour ago that said, stop asking, I'm coming, with a hog emoji. And it looks like there's a video of maybe a mixtape, maybe of practice is what it looks like. He's in the facility.
Scary hours.
Scary hours. Yeah, we got some practice footage here from Khalif Battle. Because it's interesting. Like I said, we haven't heard anything about his injury since the red and white scrimmage. And so, obviously, this is a good sign for the Razorbacks to get one of their dynamic scorers back, one of their more dynamic shot-creating, pace-controlling scorers back on the court. You pair him next to the shooters they already have. Pair him next to Jeremiah Davenport, to Joseph Pinion, and then put him next to, Makai Mitchell as well. I mean,
not only that, not only is Battle coming back, but Trevon Brazile, he got his first 5-on-5 action last week during the pro day. So I'm not sure what his time frame is on his recovery. I imagine that the Arkansas staff kind of eases him into it. I don't expect them to go full on. And
I don't anticipate him playing in any of these scrimmages. I could see him playing in the Purdue scrimmage because that's still about 2 weeks away. But I don't expect him to play against UT Tyler. I think we could see him playing against Purdue just to get him some official, live action against people who are not his teammates. I wouldn't be shocked to see him get minutes against Purdue.
Yeah.
Because as Coach Muss said, he's been cleared, but they're just taking it slowly. There was no point in him playing the red and white scrimmage. He's taking, like you said, he finally had live 5-on-5 action. So he's definitely being integrated more and more. And I think these scrimmages would be a great chance for him to finally just get out there, get some cardio in and play against opponents who are not in the crimson and white.
Yeah. So we're both excited. Basketball is, I think, both of our favorite sports.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
We'll
have to watch a ton of games.
But we'll go ahead and end it on this. Our weekly
pick'ems.
Let's go ahead and get into
it. We got 4 games.
We normally have a lot. Honestly, we normally have 5 or 6, but it's kind of a weak slate.
It is.
This week.
Yeah, it is.
It's headlined by an absolute banger of
top
a game.
Top 6 matchup.
And this is a game in Columbus. They always get it crazy in Columbus. Penn State going to Ohio State. How do you feel about that one?
Dude, I have not watched any of these teams this year. I'm not going to lie. I've been so caught up with SEC football, but I really like the way that Penn State is playing. They're consistently not letting anything go. I think Ohio State is doing the same, but both of these teams are really just dominating in their respective conferences. And now we have a absolute showdown on Saturday. And I think this is going to be a great one. I mean, Ohio State, I mean, their best opponent that they've played against is Notre Dame. Apart from that, but I don't really know if Penn State has played anybody worthy either. I'm not sure. I think they played a ranked opponent this year.
I think they played Iowa. I think.
Yeah, they played Iowa before they were ranked. But I mean, it's gonna be a close game. But I like upsets. If I'm wrong, I don't care. Give me the Penn State Nittany Lions. I think they're going to go into Columbus and get a dub. They've just played with so much swagger, so much confidence, and they've just really not showed any mercy on anyone.
I would probably say the same a couple weeks ago, but Ohio State kind of turned it around. They're finally getting the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right. Look for him to have a big day.
Yeah, you just got to feed him, and I think that they pull it out. It's at home, at night, so.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
I gotta go. I gotta go with Ohio State on that one.
I understand.
A weird one, just because I think both of these teams kind of disappointed this year.
Yep.
Utah and USC.
I'll go ahead and make it short and simple. Caleb Williams is obviously very, very frustrated right now. This is his comeback game against a Utah team who, like you said, has really not lived up to expectations. I know USC hasn't either, but this is just a game for Caleb Williams to get his swagger back. Give me the USC Trojans to have a comeback game against Utah.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think Utah is super overrated.
Remember that fraudulent clip from the start of the podcast?
Cam Rising.
Oh, I think they're fraudulent.
Cam Rising's been mid. He's out for the season too. So, give me USC. I got USC by 20 plus.
Then Clemson versus Miami. Obviously, Miami, questionable coaching.
Yeah,
to say the least.
We're going back to that.
I can't talk about it, dude. I'll get so angry.
This is at Miami. Miami is just dropped 2 straight, coming back.
And now
home,
they are unranked.
Coming back home. I think Clemson is maybe not underrated, but I think they're a little more talented than Miami.
I think so as well.
I think
they went toe to toe with Florida State, and I know they got blown out by Duke, but
that backfield of Klubnik and I'm blanking on his name. The running back, Shipley.
The running back.
He's really good as well. I got to go with Clemson.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm gonna go with Clemson as well. I would take Miami, but like you said, they've dropped 2 straight. They're starting to fall out of an inconsistency. In games they should have won. I mean, obviously you should have beat Georgia Tech, and then you kind of have more of a momentum going into the North Carolina game, and they could have won that one too. But Miami has really shot themselves in the foot these last 2 games. So give me the Clemson Tigers.
And then last but probably least, let's just be honest, Arkansas versus Mississippi State. I'm gonna go with the Hogs.
I'm going with
the Hogs. I really need them to win. I think everybody on that team, the staff, they all know they need to pull one out this Saturday.
Yeah.
So give me the Hogs.
And give me the Hogs.
No Will Rogers either. So I think that defense may end up shutting down.
I think
the Dogs' offense. So
I think if questionable
Arkansas winning by a couple touchdowns.
They could. I think the questionable play calling happens this week, then the students are going to go find Dan Enos and they're going to let him hear it and maybe send a few emails while they're at it. Give me the Hogs. I think, like you said, it's a homecoming game. They're back at home, and I would talk about how they could have won all the games that they lost by 1 possession. Obviously, the record doesn't show it, but I think they're better than their record, and the play calling is holding them back. But I think Arkansas is going to get a dub. As I said, a shorthanded Mississippi State team.
All right, well, that is all we have for you guys this week. Kind of a slower week, just because it's been more of the same, honestly. But
yeah, hopefully next week is different.
Yeah, hopefully we're coming back from a dub this Saturday. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy your day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for us, for the boys.
for the boys. Subscribe. Hit that button.
Y'all have a great week.
See ya. I'm going to get me some pizza.